with a very special friend and guest that you've heard before, twice actually. You had two times he was on the show. Um, Legendary agent, powerhouse agent Bill Branca from LA. He was Chris Rock's agent. He was Martin Lawrence's agent. He was a lot of people's agents in the comedy world. And now he's coming on tonight because he has an interesting story to tell. And this is about basically the biopic with Michael Jackson. So he has a relationship with Michael Jackson. He's going to tell you how, and he's going to tell you how his brother is involved. So it's kind of like a long story with Michael. And we figured we'd do this little bonus episode tonight to give you some insight because I'm sure everybody saw the movie. It's the biggest biopic that was ever out. And Michael Jackson was the king of pop. I mean, so here's a straight relationship with him. So he's going to give us some insight of what's going on. I'm going to bring, excuse me, I can't even talk right now. I'm going to bring Bill. I wonder if you could say that. Can you say bring Bill? Bring Bill, bring, do it 5 times. Bring Bill, bring Bill, bring. It doesn't work. I'm going to bring Bill Branca into the studio. Here he is, Bill Branca, everybody. And he's back. Did you get to hear all that, Bill?
Yes, I was going to say,
Bring
bring
Bill.
Bill by the seashore.
No, but I mean, your name is Bill Branca. And can you say bring Bill Branca in 5 times fast? Bring Bill Branca in.
Being Bill breakfast.
It doesn't. It's insane. All these years, you're living with a tongue twister, and you didn't even know it. Bring Bill Branca in.
No, it took you to point that out.
That pointed out. So anyway, Bill, I was telling the people out there because this is our first bonus episode. So when I had my other podcast, Don't Eat All the Meatballs, we would do bonus episodes, and they were very popular because they're 20-minute episodes around there. People listen in the car and all that. So I was telling people. Because I have a Michael Jackson story, of course. I also have history with Michael Jackson you don't even know about. But
No.
I'm going to tell that real quick. So because then we're going to get into what you say. So when I had my company, I owned a restaurant in West Hollywood called Tangerine. I was a partner in that restaurant, and Michael Jackson's people would always come in every night. And they would eat, and they would bring food home to Michael. And then, of course, it
Okay.
was a hot spot, and it was on Holloway and Sunset. It was called Tangerine. It was the Dome restaurant, and everybody would be there. It was like a real hot spot when I had it. It was called Tangerine. So
Okay.
anyway, uh, one night Michael came into the restaurant, and he was chilling out in the booth. And then he just loved the steaks. He loved all the stuff that we served his table. I don't know what he ate in particular, but he was enjoying they ordered everything. And I did some German fare, by the way. Anyway, he had an assistant, and for some reason I can't think of the assistant's name, but a very nice guy. And his assistant came over to me one day. He goes, "Listen, Michael would love for you to cater at his house, Neverland, for the Make a Wish Foundation." And I had my catering company called Hip on the Strip at that point. Before it was
Okay.
called Cannoli. Before it was called Cannoli Kings, it was called Hip on the Strip. And we had an office on Sunset, right by Pink Dot. So
Okay.
and he goes, Michael would love to have you on the in the ranch, and I was excited. I'm like, of course. And we bought the whole catering. I had the catering kitchen at the ranch. We rented all the equipment, all the outside. You know how those big shows go. We had all
Hmm.
the ovens. We rented everything. We had tents. My company did the whole thing. We were the only catering company allowed on Neverland Ranch. And Michael Jackson was the host of the show for the Make a Wish Foundation. And needless to say, this was the last party on the ranch. We were the only catering company allowed on the ranch, and we had an amazing show. It was $7,000 a person to eat the food and be there. Mike
Wow.
Tyson was Michael Jackson's personal bodyguard for the evening, and
Okay.
and that's when I first got to meet Michael. Then we became friends later. And Michael Jackson, at the end of the night, came over to me and gave me a big hug and said, "Thank you so much." And and gave me a great recommendation to a lot of people. And then we became like a great catering company, and everybody wanted us. So anyway, that's my Michael Jackson story. And anyway, just wanted to get
Okay.
that out there.
Just happened to wander into tangerines.
Yes, into Neverland. It was amazing. Neverland Ranch was an amazing compound. But anyway,
Yeah.
so the biopic comes out, and
Yeah.
this was the largest grossing biopic ever
Hmm.
to in history of movies. Do you know what would be the second highest? What was out? Do you happen to know that by chance?
I
I
don't
wouldn't
know.
know it.
I only
Yeah.
deal with number ones.
Good answer, Bill. You've always been that way.
The thing
So yeah.
I was
So
just
go
gonna
ahead.
say, my brother, my brother John Branca, just to set up my Michael Jackson story.
Yeah.
In the movie, it shows how how Michael picked John to be his attorney, and it was my brother says it's very true to how it really happened. Where
Now, your brother is the executor of Michael Jackson's estate, correct?
he's the co-executor with John
Co-executor.
McClane. Yes.
Was on this movie. What this movie had to been approved and everything by him, correct?
Well, yeah, the estate was very involved with it, as you know, Lionsgate, the company that produced it. Yeah.
And was
So
your brother?
yes.
Was your? And I'm going to watch the movie. My wife and I are going to watch the movie hopefully soon. Was he? Your brother in the movie at all? Like, was there any mention of him, or was he? Did he show up at any point? Did he consult on it or anything like that?
Well, yeah, he's portrayed in the movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, great. So did he consult on the portrayal? In other words.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and it's
Okay.
funny because right after I saw the movie, I called him and I just said, buddy, I call him buddy. Is that how it went down when Michael? It was suggested that Michael needs a powerhouse attorney, right?
Right.
So the firm where my brother was working, right? Michael was coming in for a meeting. Um, no, the meeting was set up with the firm where my brother was working, and the senior partner was there, and the number two senior partner, and then there was this young kid called John Branca, who was asked to sit in on the meeting.
Wow.
Yeah, and what happened was, Michael came in, my brother's there, and they kind of connected. My brother basically paraphrasing said, Michael, you're the biggest, you want to be the biggest uh, um, musician in the world, right? And he says, I'm going to help you get there. That's why,
Wow.
blah, blah, blah. And the partner, right? The owner, right? Managing partner of the firm kind of like says, oh, Michael, I'm kind of sorry, about that. And my Michael jumped in there and says, John Branker, you're my attorney, okay?
Wow.
But
Well, you
it's
can't get a
similar.
better. You can't get a better, blessing than that. I guess.
Yeah, because the partner was feeling like, oh my God, who's this young mouth, who just,
Right. Right. Right.
hijacked my meeting with Mike. And Michael was so impressed with what my brother had to say. He hired him right there on the spot.
That's
But it's
amazing.
funny too, because I don't know if you remember when I told you when Martin Lawrence came into William Morrison and I met with him, and I almost had the same conversation with Martin, where, Martin came in, he was a young kid, he didn't have much going. And I said, Martin, I know what you want to accomplish in your career, and you want to be the biggest comedian. You want to be bigger, if not bigger, than Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, and
Wow.
and touring wise, you want to have the biggest audiences so far grossing. And he says, Bill, you got it. You're my man.
Well, yeah, I really think, Bill, you're the one that brought him to where it is. You gave him that. You gave him the opportunity. You presented him an opportunity. I mean, let's face it. It's not that easy to make it in this business in comedy. And I think, I mean, you don't want to take credit for somebody, but in a sense, I'm going to say after all these years, I'm going to kind of have to give you a little credit with Martin Lawrence. I think you might have gave him the credit. You got him where he was, where he became, by the way.
You know, yeah, as far as getting him ready, because the real genius that I don't think anyone really gives me credit for is when Martin, when we pitched Martin for the Martin Lawrence show, when Robin Harris passed away,
Right.
and they had a Fox, the new network had an open slot, and Topper Carew, right, and got me involved. Went to Chris Albrecht and pitched him, at HBO Productions. I mean, they thought, you know, Topper had his head like screwed on backwards.
Right.
Who's
Right.
this guy? Who's Martin Lawrence?
It's funny.
But
I was
anyway,
watching. Martin
yeah,
Lawrence
but
actually went up on stage at the Comedy Store the other night. I saw the video. Did you see that?
No,
Yeah,
no,
if you go to
interesting
the
because
if you go
I
to
know he's doing a few dates.
yeah, if you go on Instagram at one point later or whatever, check out the Comedy Store, and they
Hmm.
put the video up of Martin going on bringing Sebastian Maniscalco introduced Martin Lawrence in the original room, the front room. You know that front room,
Yeah,
and he went on stage. He's working out again, so apparently.
he's got some dates listed with Live Nation,
Oh, okay.
and that's what he's probably preparing for.
Probably
Yeah.
working on that. So back to Michael Jackson. So give us a little story of what we didn't get to touch on it too much on the last two episodes. So we're going to try and focus on this, and then I'm going to put some photos up later
Okay.
on the rebroadcast, and I'm going to make some artwork on it. But I want people to see them. But anyway, give us what's going on with what happened with that.
Okay. Let me start with my relationship with Martin Lawrence. I was his agent, and
Right.
you know, it was the mid '90s. Okay, and I'm in my office on Sunset Boulevard, right? And I get a call, and I pick up the phone, and he says, Bill, this is Harvey Elkin, uh, Teddy Riley died. Yeah. I say, okay, Harvey, how you doing? He says, hey, I want you to come down to the studio tonight. Teddy, working on Dangerous with Michael, and want to talk to you about Martin and Guy, uh, maybe co-headline. I said, Harvey, I think that'd be fantastic. And Teddy Riley's a fan of Martin's. He said, oh yeah, loves him. And ran into him at the club, and Martin said, call you. You're his guy. I said, okay, I'll be down tonight. No big deal.
Of course, another dinner you had to leave with your girlfriend.
Yeah. I was. So what happened is, he gave me the directions. We didn't have Google or anything like that, so I had to
We had the
turn.
Thomas Guide. Remember the Thomas Guide? I think
I
we had.
remember,
Yeah.
but this wasn't on the Thomas guy. I
MapQuest
had
came
to
after
go
that.
down the alley behind
Oh
Sunset
man.
Boulevard, and then I had to make a left and a right, and then I was going to see a dumpster, and then there was a staircase next to the dumpster. I mean, it was okay. So anyway, I think I figured it out, and I rang, the bell, and I heard that voice again. Yeah. Oh, I said, Harvey, Bill Branco. Oh, good. I've been waiting for you. Come on in, Bill. Brings the buzzer. I go in the studio, and I introduce myself to him, and he's a really, really nice man. Um, he, had a little beard. He was gray, salt and pepper, and all this stuff. And I think he was smoking a cigar, a big stogie.
Uh huh.
But anyway, so he said, you know, started telling me about Guy and Teddy, and he says, I know Teddy's working on the Dangerous album with Michael, and I go, yeah, I do know that. And next thing, Harvey like looked over my shoulder, and he goes, Michael, come out here. You got to meet this guy.
Harvey Elkin.
So it was Michael Jackson. He was in the
Wow.
corner, all the way across the room. Harvey was cooking dinner. Michael comes out. I think he was wearing like pajamas or something,
Sure.
like
Yeah.
really comfortable.
Sounds like that's Michael.
Yeah. And Harvey's behind the thing, and he says, Michael, I want you to meet this guy. This is Bill Branca. Okay. He's a agent, and talking about Teddy and one of his clients doing something together. And Michael put his hand out, and he says, Bill, it's really nice to meet you. I says, Michael, yeah, we've met before. He says, we have? I go, yeah. My brother's John Branca, and you were the best man at his wedding, back in 1988. He says, John? John is your brother? I go, yeah, it's my brother. Oh, Bill, he just lit up like a Christmas tree. Like he just got this beautiful Christmas gift.
Wow, of
He says,
course.
Bill, would you like to stay for dinner and we could talk? I said, absolutely, Michael. I'd love to stay for dinner. But I got to show you how Michael worked, okay? Because at the time, my brother and Michael were separated. My brother wasn't working with him at that
Right.
period of time,
Okay.
okay? So Michael, wanted me to stay so he could talk to me, okay, and get a message to my brother.
Right.
So anyway, I stayed. I stayed for dinner. Harvey was cooking some it was like noodles or something, and maybe like a flounder or fish or something. And I sat here. Michael sat there, and we ate, and Michael was asking me some questions like, so Bill, you work at where do you work? And I said, I work at the William Morris agency. And I said, he said, who do you represent? And I said, I do comedians like Martin Lawrence, the guy who I came here to talk to Harvey about. But I have Tommy Davidson, who's on In Living Color. I have Chris Rock. He goes, Tommy Davidson? I go, yeah, he's on In Living Color. He impersonates me, doesn't he?
Yeah,
I
that's
go,
right.
yeah, he does. And he flipped out. He says, I just laugh every time he does that impersonation of me. Uh, is it possible that I could see him do that live? I said, yeah, he performs at the Comedy Store all the time. And if you want to see him,
Lights out.
I will set it up.
I could still see you.
You can see me? Okay.
Yeah.
I said, yeah,
You
I'll set it up.
you want
No,
to go
no
turn?
big.
If you want to go turn the light on real quick, it's up to you.
Yeah. Pause it for a second. Or no?
Yeah. No. 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 It's going. It can. That's all right.
Okay. Well, anyway, um, so I said to him, what I would do is, you know, within the next couple of weeks, we'll get you down to the Comedy Store. We'll bring you in the back way. Okay. And I'll have Tommy on stage, and we could have, you could watch the show from the back of the Comedy Store.
Hmm.
Okay. Oh, he says, I'd love that. I'd love that. Okay. I said, all right. So now we finish our dinner, and he says to me, Bill, I would love for you to stay and watch a movie with me. I said, okay, Michael, what's on the agenda? He says, I want to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I just love that movie. I
I'm
go,
sure he sounds like the kind of
absolutely.
he would like that movie, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun, joking around. He loves that stuff. He's like a kid.
Yeah. 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 So, we're staying there. I'm watching the movie with him. He's like laughing, at parts, and I joined in the laughter, and um, it, it was bizarre. It was really a bizarre night.
Now,
Okay.
did you set the Comedy Store up for him?
Well, you see, what happened was right after that, a couple things happened, and it never really came about.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this real
Alexa,
quick. Not,
turn the light
not
on.
not to backtrack a little bit, but you said Michael Jackson was the best man at your brother's wedding, correct?
Yes.
How was that at the wedding? Sometimes celebrities don't like going to weddings because they take away from the bride and groom. How was it, and how was it able Michael was able to mingle and hang at the wedding and not really get bombarded? Because no matter what, people are going to want to talk to Michael, no matter who you are.
Okay. Okay. This was my brother's wedding. He was really just at the height, not at the height of his career, but he was well on his way to
Was this in
being.
Los Angeles, by the way? Just in L.A.?
Yes, it was in
Okay,
Beverly Hills.
gotcha.
Wheels. You're not going to believe who the guests were
Oh, I
at
can
this wedding.
imagine. I mean, yeah.
We had Priscilla Presley, we had Michael Jackson, we had Little Richard, we had Don Johnson, we had Poison, we had David Lee Roth. Um, it just didn't didn't end. And then
Didn't
on
end.
top of it, Diane Cannon was driving by and saw a party because
Yeah.
uh, um, we had ice skaters on the front lawn, fake ice and everything. She just decided to show up,
She crashed the
and
party.
and she was just out on a dance floor dancing. It was pretty insane.
Pretty
Yeah,
great. So how did Michael handle it with all the people? Did he have security with him no matter what, or how did it work out?
yeah. He had his security guy with him, and um, he brought Bubbles with him.
Yeah, the which we're going to show a picture of that. Well, we actually shown one once before, but I'll put that in
Yeah.
in the thing
And
as well.
see, this is the interesting thing because we were sitting in the back, by the pool where he had more ice skaters on the pool. Um, and Michael was kind of like sitting at the head of the table. Bubbles was sitting next to me. My sister was sitting right across from Bubbles. And I'm looking at this chimpanzee and looking at his clothes. And he had a Christian Dior tuxedo. You know what I'm saying? He
Yeah.
had the cufflinks on, gold. I mean, the little tie, the little chain around his neck and everything. I mean, he was dressed better than half the people at the wedding, and half the people at the wedding were celebrities.
You know, it's interesting you say about Diane Cannon kind of crashing the wedding. You know, and I know my listeners. I know how they are, and I know they're
Yeah.
thinking this, and I'm because we're thinking this. L.A. is such an opportunistic town. Do you
Hmm.
think? I mean, for you to just crash a wedding and go, no matter what, you don't know what's going on with the party. You know, do you think that it's because that people just she was looking for an opportunity to be in front of people, knowing that would be a big deal? Because how do you just crash? I mean, to me, it's kind of interesting yet tasteless. At the same point, just go to somebody's house and fucking say I'm coming in and start dancing on the dance floor. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem right to me. I mean, she is Diane Cannon. She's known for being a little promiscuous in the movies.
Hmm.
So it's like, really? I mean, did you really have to fucking do that? I mean, I don't know. But I guess it happened.
Well, she saw. I mean, there were valets. There were. I mean, at the time, there was like $2-3 million worth of cars parked in front of her
Sure. So
brother's
she
house.
she saw an opportunity. Let's face it. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah.
but
Fucking.
the guy who was at the door, I mean, he just let her in. I
Well,
mean,
I'm sure she paid.
and
Probably
she
gave.
tore up the dance floor. I got to tell you.
Yeah, but still, it's still an opportunity she was looking for. That's Hollywood for you, people. That's
It,
what they
it,
do.
it's what they do. It's what they do in Hollywood.
Yeah. But anyway, so moving forward with that, but I know they're thinking that because I was thinking that. How do you just fucking pull over? But okay, gotcha.
It's it's an everyday thing in Hollywood. Whoever's
It is.
having the party, yeah.
Yeah,
If you're a celebrity, you could just crash it.
you just
No big
crash the
deal.
party. Yeah, not a
That's it.
big deal. And just start taking guests away from the fucking main event and start talking about pitches and scripts and shit you want to fucking do and how you're trying to get away from topless scenes and how you're trying not to have sex in the movies anymore and how you feel you're better than that. I get it. It's all fucking
Yeah,
bullshit.
but yeah. I don't think she was talking about any of that stuff that night, if I remember. I
Hey,
think
I
she
just say it
was
like it is, Bill. Sorry.
a little. She was a little bit tipsy.
Oh, a little bit tipsy. So who knows how she got in the door? Anyway,
Yeah.
not my problem.
So you know, we watched the movie, okay, and we'll wind up this part of the story. So Michael said to me, Bill, I gotta let you know, your brother and I, very close, and he made some major, deals for me, and I gotta tell you, I let some people get in my head, and your brother and I aren't working together right now, but it's a huge mistake. If you don't mind, right? Could you tell your brother John to reach out and give me a call? I'd love to talk to him.
But he was the best man in his wedding. Why didn't you just say something there?
No, you're talking about
Oh, you're going back to when?
egos. Oh
Oh,
no, I'm talking. I'm. The wedding was in '88. This
right.
was like '94.
I
Okay.
got you. So this was a different time. I was thinking he's
Yeah.
at the wedding and he didn't want to come up to your brother. I got you.
No, no. So this is like '94, approximately. Maybe I'm a year or two off. I'm 64 years old now, so the memory is a little bit dull. So anyway, I says, Michael, I gotta let you know, my brother really had a special place in his heart for you, and I have no idea of what's going on business wise with you and him and all that, but I will convey the message to him. Okay? And he says, I really appreciate that, Bill. And I also want you to get a hold of Harvey and let's set up the Tommy Davidson thing at the Comedy Store.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, so there's where it comes in.
I go, I will do. Now, mind you, I got there maybe 7, 8 o'clock. It's like 11 o'clock now. Okay. So I left. The next day, I woke up, went to my office, I called my brother and I said, hey, John, you're not going to believe this. I went to the studio where Michael's doing his album with Teddy, and
Right.
Michael was there. Michael invited me to stay for dinner and watch a movie with him, you know. And what happened is, at the end of everything, I got to tell you something. Michael and I had a great time. We were talking about my career. He was telling me how much he loves the Ninja Turtles, and
Was he a very
you
down
know,
to earth guy? Like, was he able to have a real
yeah,
conversation and relate
oh
a
yeah,
relatable conversation? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, he was asking me questions about my childhood. Where did I grow up? I think he was trying to pull that out of me because his childhood was a little bit different than the typical childhood. I
Right.
told him a little bit about my mom, my dad, um, and
I mean, but
he
other than questions and conversing about careers together, was
mhm.
there ever just that moment of a relatable moment? Like did he say something like relatable to me, like a normal human being, not just so what do you do? Was there any real conversation like, I got to go to the bathroom, whatever, something like that.
No,
You know.
I felt like when he was asking me questions about where I grew up and what did I do, did I play any sports? I mean, he got into questions like that with me. I felt like
Okay.
that was like really like he just wanted to know
He was
what my
interested in you.
childhood was like
Yeah.
because his
He really
childhood was so different.
genuinely interesting.
Yeah,
Interested. Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, he was that kind. He appears to be that way, with people.
yeah. So, um, my brother said, "Oh, really?" I go, "Yeah, but Bud, the thing that was really interesting was he wanted me to give you a message. He wanted to talk to you. He said some people got in his head. He misses you in his life, and he wants to correct the wrong that was done. Can you give him a call at some point?" And my brother says, he wanted to know, what else happened. I told him just like what I told you about what happened. And he says, Bill, Michael's a very personable guy, and he's really a nice guy. And I'm glad you and him, connected like that. I said, okay, thank you, bud. So you're gonna call him? Yeah, yeah, I'll get to it, Bill. Okay. I go, okay. That was like, I don't know, maybe like Monday or Tuesday. So usually every Saturday, my brother and I we would go to Pico Boulevard and we would go have breakfast at one of these little spots down there. It was like German type of restaurant or
Uh
something.
huh.
And so I said to him, "Hey, bud, did you reach out to Michael?" He goes, "No, I didn't call him yet, Bill." I go, "Oh, okay." So the next week, right?
I got to
We
give it to
we
him for letting
meet
him
at
wait, though.
the restaurant again,
I got to
right?
respect you.
And
I got to give your brother respect, though. He didn't just fucking jump. Anybody in the world would jump on Michael Jackson. I mean, let's face it. You were bugging your brother. Did you get to him? Did you get to him? And your brother
Mhm.
said just even keel. I'm going to get to him when I want to get to him, and just that's the
Yeah,
way it's going to be. So he put himself on a different level. I'll give him that's fantastic.
that is fantastic. So what happened was the second week we went to that same restaurant, where we have our breakfast together. Hey, bud, did you reach out to Michael yet? No, not yet.
It ain't happening right
I
now.
said, oh, okay. But do you see what I'm saying here, Wheels? When Michael found out who I was,
Right.
he opened it up a little bit more for me because
He
he
did.
wanted to get a message to my brother, and he
And that was
wasn't
the
gonna.
most direct message you can get other than calling him up on the phone personally. If you can't, his
Michael,
brother is right in front of your face. I'm
yeah,
talking to his brother, Bill. This is the way I want to get to, no one else is going to be able to do it.
Michael was not gonna pick up the phone and call
No.
my brother,
And your brother
and my
obviously didn't pick
brother
up right away either.
wasn't gonna rush to pick up the phone and talk
Exactly.
to Michael,
Exactly. And that's what I got to give him credit. That's
and
amazing.
that's how come I've thought about this scenario for 40 years, and I'm totally convinced. Michael was very sincere and warm with me, but he also wanted to get a message to my brother
Right.
and not pick up the phone and call him.
Right. Absolutely. And that's and then your brother finally called him, assuming, and everything was good.
It was about 3 weeks, if I remember correctly.
Wow, that's a
You
long
know,
time to wait. I was thinking a week, 5 days, but 3 weeks to a month almost. That's like
yeah,
talk about what kind of leveraging you got on that phone call when he called him. That's leveraging right there. That's like that's a power move. Your brother made a power move.
yeah, yeah.
You know.
Well, he called me. He called me and he says, "Hey, Bill, I just want to let you know, I spoke to Michael."
Oh wow.
I says, "Oh my God, that was great. How did everything work out?" He said, "Yeah, I think things are going. I think we're gonna work together again."
Do you think Michael Jackson was saying at one point, "What the fuck kind of brother is Bill? He can't get to his own brother to get to me."
Yeah, yeah. I didn't give him the message. Yeah,
like you need to give the Branca family just don't give a shit about Michael Jackson. Bill won't give him the message. His brother won't call me up. They're ghosting me. They're fucking
yeah,
ghosting me.
yeah,
The biggest guy in the world. That's amazing. That's an amazing story, Bill. I appreciate you having
yeah,
talking about that. Definitely gonna make a nice bonus. People are gonna love that.
yeah.
How you been otherwise?
Oh, you know what? Life keeps coming at me, Wheels.
Well,
It
that's a
keeps
good thing.
coming at me with I just got a T-shirt the other day, and it says, I miss the America I grew up in." You know,
Yeah, that's true. I do too.
and weren't things simpler when we were kids?
It was so much different. In a good way,
Yeah,
growing up I grew up in Long Island. You grew up in New York, upstate, right?
Mount Vernon. Yeah,
Mount Vernon. Growing up in those days, the neighborhoods was so, you know, good old fashioned Americana. It almost felt
mhm,
black and white when you watch Father Knows Best. That was kind of like my neighborhood. Everybody kind of knew each
yeah.
other. We all hung out in the same yards. We jumped people's fences and played in the yard. They didn't care as long as you were home and the fucking street lights came on, and then we were good.
We used
Different
to play
time.
street hockey in
Oh,
front of our
street hockey,
house.
catch. Remember catch? You're on one end, I'm on the other. You're throwing, I'm playing the catch. I would always play Thurman Munson. That was my idol when I was.
I bet you were brokenhearted when that plane crashed.
Oh my god! I mean, talk about That's all we would do is play catch in the neighborhood. Army.
Mhm.
Remember playing army in the neighborhood? Everybody would just run around with I
With the
shot you.
wooden
Count to
sticks
10.
as guns.
Throw the stick. Do you think though nowadays the civilization of ours that we live in is a little desensitized towards reality, and everything is so on the phone, scrolling every 5 minutes, and who's got more likes, who's got more followers, what's going on? I mean, we didn't have any of that. We barely had a phone, in the
But look at the
house.
problems these kids are having right now with with
Jesus.
with too much internet. They're suing like Meta and Instagram and Facebook because it's ruined their friggin' lives
Yeah,
when
it
they're
is.
20 years old.
How do you feel about video games too? I kind of feel video games can be was start of the ruination of this era.
You know,
Not,
Yeah.
and I'm not talking Atari Donkey Kong shit. I'm talking about the stuff that kids play and they're shooting, and then they end up shooting up schools because they really believe
Oh,
that they
Grand
can do
Theft
it.
Auto,
Yeah,
where they're shooting whores and pimps and stuff like
yeah. I
that.
mean,
Yeah,
crazy stuff. You know.
yeah. You know,
Uh,
Tipper Gore. Do you remember
oh,
her
sure.
crusade against
Oh, yeah.
music with
Yep.
explicit language?
Yeah.
I wonder how they feel about what's happened to our world right now.
You know how crazy the world we're in right now. I said to myself the other day, I'm for, I am actually for Spencer Pratt becoming the mayor of Los Angeles.
Okay.
I was never a fan of Spencer Pratt or Heidi Montage, whatever the fuck who they are. Never
Yeah.
cared for him. And now I'm like, I hope the guy wins. I really
Yeah.
feel this guy Spencer Pratt's going to do something. I think everybody's starting to rally again around him.
Hmm.
He might actually win mayor of Los Angeles.
Yeah. These obscure candidates are winning. If I'm noticing,
I know, and
just
it's
like in New
crazy.
York City. I mean, I was secretly hoping he won because New York City is so friggin' fucking corrupt.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but a lot
yeah,
of people are moving out of New York now. They're moving to
yeah,
Florida and stuff because
yeah,
the Mamdani wants to tax the rich.
yeah,
And they're like, we're richer than you. We're not playing that game. We got lawyers
yeah.
that can turn this shit around on you. They're leaving. They're fleeing New York. Like they're calling it the land of the flea.
Anybody who's like part of the institution, like I got to tell you something.
Yeah.
Governor Cuomo, right? Um, okay, he was running, for the mayor of New York. Now,
Right.
when he was the governor of New York, and my father died because my father was in his father's administration.
Yeah.
Okay, and my father and Mario Cuomo were like that.
And
Okay,
Mario was a good governor. There was nothing wrong with the original father. The father was a nice guy.
yeah, yeah. But the thing that really, like, my dad died in 2009. No, 2011. I'm sorry,
Uh-huh.
2011. Okay, Mario Cuomo. I don't know how he did this. He got my address. Okay, sent me a letter about sent me a letter, and it's a beautiful letter, and condolences to your father. My dad and your dad were
Amazing.
very close, and all that. And then send a thing of flowers to the funeral.
That's a
How did
beautiful
that?
guy
How
right
did
there. See,
how
that's
did
how
that
that.
happen?
Because back in the day, Democrats and Republicans were just Democrats and Republicans. Now it's not
Yeah.
even about Democrat or Republican. It's just a whole different world. These are radical people on both sides, believe it or not.
Oh yeah.
And it's not just Republicans and it's not just Democrat. They're both. This is not even the traditional Democrat and Republican Party.
Hmm.
This is a whole different thing. Back in the day, if you were a Democrat and I was a Republican, yeah, we'd laugh at each other. Now it's like they fucking hate
Now
each
we,
other.
we hate each other. We want
Yeah,
to
it's
kill each
crazy.
other.
Yeah, it's like literally divisive. I mean, back in the day, we had family. Hey, I'm a Democrat. Oh, you're the only friggin' Democrat in the family. But you're a Republican, and we would laugh at each other, but it was a joke. We loved
Yeah.
each other. Now you got families are breaking up, and brothers hate brothers, and cousins. I mean, it's crazy out there.
Yeah.
Something's got to happen. Something's got to come back together again. I mean, both sides got to get together. I mean, I'm not getting political, but really, regardless of
Yeah.
what anybody is, they got to come together and say, "This is America first."
I remember we had great divisions when I was a kid, right? We had the Vietnam War, right?
Right? Yeah, that
We
was a
had the
big one.
Martin Luther King. We had busing. We had. I mean, there was so many like things going on in the
Right.
'60s when
Yeah.
I was growing up, and I used to watch Walter Cronkite with my dad,
And yeah, remember him, Walter Cronkite.
and that's the way it is.
That's the way it is.
But it's different today. I'm not
Much different.
saying people weren't, violent. They didn't get the hoses on them, and Kent State I'm not saying that's didn't happen. It happened, but it's so much different today,
It's
and
so
I
much
can't really
different.
put my finger on it.
And if you look at it in stand-up comedy, you have comedians that are getting canceled. Well, I think the cancel culture is kind of gone. Nobody cares about them anymore. But I mean, comedians can't go on stage and say things, and everybody's being outed. And this one said didn't use my pronoun, and this one didn't say I'm a he, I'm a she, I'm a D. I mean, what
Hmm.
the fuck? What happened to just being funny? Richard Pryor said, "Whatever's funny, that's the shit you got to say, man." And when they start censoring comedians, I mean, then
Yeah.
you know, I mean, there's a lot wrong there. I mean, we have to be careful how we say something. Or the clubs don't want to hire us because they heard you're a Republican or you're a Democrat. I can't hire you. We're a blue club. We're a red club. It's like the Crips and the Bloods. I mean, it's
That's
crazy.
friggin' nuts. Wheels?
Yeah, yeah. There are clubs that go, no, we're blue. Really? Okay, I'm sorry.
You
Didn't know.
know, there are comedians out there that are um, political, like Bill Maher,
Yeah, but
Argus
they're meant to be
Hamilton.
political. That's who they want
Yeah,
to be.
yeah. But then for another comedian, like if you think about it, like Johnny Carson never was political.
Never.
Never. And he would suggest when the minute I come out for a candidate, right? He says I lost half my audience.
100%. Yeah, once you start doing that, that's why I don't agree with Kimmel.
I
I
don't
don't.
agree with it either.
I don't agree with Fallon and all these guys. It's Kimmel especially more than anything. Because here's a guy who had the Man Show, who was pretty much making fun of retarded people, making fun of women, making fun, and grabbing their asses on television and humiliation and degradation. He was degrading women. He would come to the
Yeah.
comedy store and prey on mentally ill people and exploit them on stage. He was a fucking idiot. And then all of a sudden, he became what he like. All of a sudden, he's like pure and pious. He's like he wants to. Everything is wrong. You can't say this. You can't say that. He hates Trump so bad. I mean, his whole show became about hating Trump. It's not even comedy anymore. I mean, don't you agree?
Yeah. Yeah. But why? Why do you want to go out there and do something where you're going to eliminate half of your fucking audience?
I agree. That's Carson said it right. I know there's a video out there that Carson actually talks about it, and
Oh yeah.
I seen it on Instagram. But as an agent, as a Hollywood agent like yourself, if you were in Hollywood right now, I mean, it's difficult for comedians. I mean, imagine how you would have to book these people now. I mean, it's a whole different approach. What they could say. Here's a guy getting ready to do a special. You got to go over to him and say, "Do you really want to use this joke? I mean, what do you think? You might be able to
Yeah.
lose people here." I mean, it's a whole
Yeah.
different game now. You
I,
know?
I mean, yeah. The thing about Martin, he never was political. Um,
Yeah,
I remember Chris Rock. He was never political. He would just make fun of the obvious.
yeah. Just anybody. It didn't matter.
But
I'm
today,
not political.
people are
Yeah,
building a career on being
too
political.
much. It's just too much. And it needs to stop. It really does. And I hope it goes back to at least semi normal. Some semi normal need. We need that. People just need to start laughing at funny things again, and not just inside
Yeah,
jokes and inside humor based on who you're voting for. You should just go to a comedy club and laugh at stupid
yeah,
shit. That's what it's about. That's our job.
yeah.
Who gave us the who? Why are you listening to me? Who I voted for? Who you? What do you care? Because Joe Rogan voted for this one. Everybody's gonna rally. Joe's a comedian. You don't listen to a comedian. It's
Yeah,
like if a comedian gave me advice on health. I mean, you're a fucking comedian. You're not a doctor.
yeah. I'm gonna tell you how to treat your friggin' cancer.
Yeah. So what I would do, I don't care what you would do. You're not a doctor. You're a comedian. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
listen to you. Hey, if I ever gave you advice out there, people, it was only in joking form. you know.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, as a former talent agent too, and you as a comedian, right?
yeah.
I would strongly suggest people who are listening to this don't pick a side. Do what
Don't.
Johnny Carson did.
Yes,
You,
I
you
agree.
can make fun of both sides,
Yeah.
but don't pick a side.
Nobody years ago. Well, people know who I. People know by conversation what I am, but I don't think that it should come into play. You should. I don't talk about it on stage. I don't bash
Mhm.
anybody on stage. I am what I am. I believe in what I believe, and you should have the right to believe in what you believe. And you and I should be able to get together anytime and have a cup of coffee and chill out and relax and still be civil. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to try and change you. It's like you can't do that. It's not
I,
right.
I think I know what you are.
Well, yeah, I mean, I am. I'm a Republican. I mean, that's who I am. And I am. I mean, to be honest with you, though, for many years I was purple. I could have went any way. I voted for Clinton back in the day.
Yeah.
I voted for Obama in his first term. So listen,
Mm-hmm.
I am Republican. My family's Republican, and I am. But I have voted for who I thought was the better candidate before.
Yeah.
But now I am pretty much Republican. That's who I am. And it's not a big deal. I don't go over here and say, oh,
I know.
can't stand Kamala, and I don't talk about that. It's
I'm
not my
not.
business.
I'm not trying to convert anybody either. And I'm going to tell you something. My background is kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
My dad was a Democrat,
Uh-huh.
and he worked for Cuomo, and he was a really big Democrat. I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah.
The Democratic Party of today isn't the Democratic Party that he was part of
It
in
really
the
isn't.
80s.
It's
No,
not even close. This is a whole different party. This is a radical left party. There are real Democrats out there still.
yeah,
But what
yeah,
what the ones who are calling the shots out there right now are radical. The AOCs and the Ilhan Omar and all that.
yeah.
These are radicals. They're not America's. They're not loving this country. They're
No, they're
looking to
not.
change this into a different world. Okay, that's as political I will say. And you don't even got to be Republican or Democrat. That you should just agree with, no
Mhm.
matter what you
Yeah.
are. you know.
I mean, my first election I voted in, Reagan was running, and I met him. Reagan came to my campus, right? And I was the
Yeah.
school photographer, right? So I had to get a pass and all that stuff. I went into the thing. I met him. I shook his hand. I got a picture with him. I mean, it was fantastic. I thought he
Yeah.
was the most charismatic guy I've ever met in my fucking life. But I voted Libertarian on that first election.
Yeah.
Then I voted Republican for him in a second term. And sometimes I vote Democrat, sometimes I vote Republican. But I'm going to tell you
Sure.
how I do it. Like, let's just say this past race, right? We had Kamala, right? Who nobody
Yeah.
knew what she was going to do. Okay.
Right.
She was a mystery. Okay. And we had Trump, right? Who was very clear. We're going to, the immigration, we're going to finish the wall.
Yeah.
We're going to, strengthen our economy. We're going to drill. Um, and I'm saying to myself, okay, this guy has a plan. I like his plan. And he's going to make America strong. He's going to increase the defense budget. I said, I'm supporting Trump. Absolutely. I'm supporting him because I don't know what the frig this woman is going to do.
Yeah. Exactly. And
And
they leave you in a state of uncertainty.
now, were you impressed when Trump took office? I mean, he came out the gate like executive orders, and it's still going. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean
100%. The guy works
every
every day. He
week.
shows up to the office every day. This guy is working every day. He's working for this country.
Joe
And
Biden, you didn't know what he was doing. You didn't know if he was upstairs sleeping. You didn't know.
two of the biggest mistakes I made I'm going to tell you, but I don't care what people think anymore. Listen, I'm past the age of caring what people think. Okay. I don't care about the money. I don't care about that. I do fine in life. My life does not change. When I tell you this, I made two mistakes in my voting. I voted for Bill Clinton and I voted for the other fucking guy,
Obama.
Obama. Those were two big mistakes that I voted for because I feel Obama is an enemy. I feel that way. I don't care what people think. And then in Clinton, I just don't think was great. No, neither here nor there. He was better than Obama. Obama changed the world. He came in here and changed it because he said he was going to run on change. He said, "We're changing. We need change. We need change," and that's what he's doing. And he tried to do. Trump is intercepting that now and trying to turn it back to Reagan and those days. But
Yeah.
other than that, those are the only two I ever voted for.
Well,
I was always, that was it.
you got to look at who they were running against. Okay,
Right.
because you can't because when you like I remember Hubert Humphrey or Richard Nixon when I was a
Right.
kid.
Right. Nixon, we
And
knew. My family knew
yeah,
Nixon.
Humphrey was radical. He would have gotten along so well with ALC, whatever
Oh
freaking
yeah,
name is.
AOC. I can't. Another one. Another enemy. These enemy people. That's it.
Oh my, him. You know, and the other thing that I love watching is when Schumer comes out and he's so
Another
against
guy I
boom
can't
boom.
stand.
But if you go back 30 years or 20 years and look at what he was saying when he was new in Congress,
It's all payoffs. They paid these. These are fucking their puppets. They're
the
puppets. You
things
know, I
that
like.
he's saying he's against now, he was for in the 90s.
I know he's completely contradicting himself. I like Fetterman
Oh my
from
God, yeah.
Pennsylvania. I like him. I think he's a true Democrat. I think he was what Democrats were, and then he knows that, and that's why he's stepping away from his
You
own
got
party because they're not the same.
you got to cross party lines
You
if you
have
want
to.
to be effective. And there's a bill coming out that the Republicans are sponsoring, and you feel it's going to be good for your people, you
Of
got to vote
course.
for it.
Can you imagine if Newsom got in office and Newsom became the president of the United States? Can you
Oh my
imagine?
God.
We're fucked. This guy is the devil in
But
disguise.
yeah, but see, this is something the Democrats don't know. Okay, and when Trump, the night of the election, some people that where I used to work, they were like really like, oh my God, Bill, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? I said, look, I'm going to go historic on you. Okay, whenever the Democrats put up a liberal, okay, and I'm going like Dukakis, I'm going Hubert Humphrey, right? Whenever they go extreme liberal,
Yeah,
they get slaughtered.
slaughtered.
Okay, and that's what's going to happen here.
Oh
Just
yeah.
relax. Everything's going to be okay.
Yep. I hope
And
so.
that's what happened.
I
So,
think we're on a recovery for sure.
so I want them to put Newsom up. I want
Oh
them.
yeah,
I
yeah,
want
yeah.
them to.
No, but
I
can you
want
imagine?
Kamala to run again. I
Yeah, but
want
can you imagine if
AOC
he
to run.
wins? If you can imagine if he wins, I like Rubio. I got to be honest. I think Rubio is a
Oh
good
my
guy. I like him.
God,
He's
he's great.
fantastic. He's amazing. I mean, did you see when they all went to China
Yeah,
just recently? They all went. This guy, Donald Trump, took the most powerful people in the world with him on the plane with him
yeah.
to China. I mean, you couldn't
And,
get. You
and
had Apple. Everybody was there.
he brought half of his cabinet with him. It's
Everybody.
insane. I can't remember any president ever doing that.
He showed up strong. Like this guy fucking walks in the room. I don't care. You got to give it to him, man. You just have to. I mean, the guy is working hard for us.
He is.
You know, what are they
I
going to sit around and say Epstein files? I'm tired of hearing that shit. Get over it. Whatever it is, it is. Who gives a fuck at this point?
I mean, I don't know what to believe because there's all this stuff on the internet that's saying stuff, and but then there's the stuff that mainstream is reporting, but half the stuff that they're saying doesn't have any truth behind
Yeah,
it.
like you don't know who to believe. You know,
Yeah, I mean, it can't be true. Some of the stuff they're saying is so fucking radical,
it's
and
far off.
it's too far off to be true.
Yeah, it is.
And
All right,
I
Bill.
feel for those
I
victims, you know?
I think that we need to have in 2028. We need to
Yeah,
have Vance Rubio ticket.
yeah, yeah,
I would even say Rubio Vance as far as that.
yeah,
I like Rubio a lot.
yeah. I mean,
And
yeah,
now,
absolutely.
where you live, you have Vivek. How's he going to do for governor? You think he'll make governor?
Oh my God, oh my God.
I like him.
Vivek is running on a thing where
Vivek.
he wants to eliminate the property tax
Yeah,
or
he's going to be
greatly
good, man.
reduce it in
Yeah,
Ohio. Now,
I
I'm going
like
to tell
him.
you something.
Smart
Property
guy.
taxes are fucking nuts. President Trump is giving us tax breaks and all this stuff, boom,
Yeah.
right? Like even the 65 years old, I get to claim a $6,000 exemption,
Oh,
all
that's
that,
great.
right? But the local property taxes are eating up anything the government is giving me. Okay?
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So they're not doing their part. They're not being patriotic. They're fucking raping us. But if he wants to, yeah, he wants to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And I'm all for that. I don't give a fuck if people are gonna there's not going to be money for this, or there's not going to be money for that. Bullshit. They always find money when they need it. But
That's right.
the
There's plenty
state
of
and
money.
local government have too much fucking money right now.
Yeah, so much money. I mean, there's plenty of money out there. Look what Obama did. He sent almost 2 billion of it to Iran. Iran
Okay,
back in the
one
day.
quick
So
thing.
there's money.
They
Yeah,
built this rec center in my town. Okay, and
like
I
a
don't know if you
YMCA type of
remember
place.
it. Well, do you remember the Sports Club LA in California? Did you
Oh,
ever
sure.
go
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Okay,
In Westwood,
the, West LA,
West
right by
LA. Yeah.
Sepulveda.
Yep. I know it.
Okay, I mean it was the joint back in
It
the
was the spot to
'90s.
go. Everybody
It was
was there. Yeah.
everybody, actors, actresses, agents, lawyers, everybody.
Everybody.
So and it was sweet. Okay, so basically when I go into the rec center we have here, it's the Sports Club LA. Okay,
Right.
that's how expensive this rec center was built. Okay,
Wow.
okay, and it was all funded and they put a referendum and all. Okay, if I want to go and be a member of the rec center that was paid with my fucking tax dollars, right? I
Yeah.
gotta pay $80 a month. Okay. And if I want to get from my whole family, it's like $200 a month. Uh, are you there? Uh,